All right, lady and gentlemen, boys and girl, we've got another cobalt, as if that's surprising. So I've done a test spot on this, but it's not exciting me. You can see the level of reflection that we're starting with here. Not great. The owner wants the emblems left on, so I'll leave them on. I might be able to work myself around them with a buffer. I've already lifted the boat up substantially so I can get around these fenders. Worried about all that. And there we are with a nice little Gelcoat repair. It extends into the white. That shouldn't be too difficult on the white to repair, or at least blend together, but the red is going to be problematic. We might still be looking at that after I'm done. Okay, well, let's see. To attack this, I'll tell you what. My goal is going to be to hit this bottom line real quick. Then maybe I'll hit the red. Then I'll come up for the white. We'll see. We'll see. I also might draw a line right down the boat and just do from here over, top and bottom, just to show you what it looks like, what the differences are, and what I found once I got into this. But yeah, the same things that we did on that blue and white cobalt. These little corners, these are going to be things to focus on. This little corner is going to be things to focus on. And up under here, this edge is going to be to focus, and this one's going to be to focus. So go really hard here, go really hard here. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'll put you on pause and we'll come back in a little bit. Okay, so the customer said to specifically focus on the red, and he just wants this shined up. That being the case, I could probably put a cleaner wax on there and happy it up. This focus on, but instead I'm going to go ahead and take some heavy cut, hit this, and see what type of result I get. If that's good enough for what I'm hoping for, then maybe that's all I'll do. Okay, what you may or may not be seeing is I see the line back here, the water line. It's stained into the boat pretty well. So I'm trying to use the heavy cut to pull it out. And what I'm finding is that I'm going to need a little bit more heavy cut. So I'll just add some more heavy cut. Regardless if the bottle is a 91, trust me, it's heavy cut by 3M. So I'll get a little bit more aggressive. pretty nice, actually. Yeah, that'll do. Okay. Well, since you're already set up there, I suppose it doesn't hurt too much to flip the pad over. Throw some Super Duty on the red and see what type of damage we can do there, huh? Okay, clean pad. Super Duty, regardless if it's in a heavy cut bottle, but as I recall, I gotta shake this up. And because it's a small section, and I know it's a little bit runny today because it's warm, I'm going to put the compound right on the pad. Okay, see that? Okay, just a little bit. Alright, here we go. Nice and slow. Spread it out. Edges. Yeah, what do you think I do all day?
I didn't know it actually came off in that form.
Well, I mean, it comes off in powder form, but the powder gets wet with the compound, so it turns into paste.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah, it's a huge thing that most people think you're just putting stuff on top of a boat and then smoothing it out.
I always thought it was just cut down a little bit and then shine it.
That's basically it, but I mean, the cut takes quite a bit. Yeah, people get nervous when they see this. Customers like, oh my god, Is that okay? Is that normal? Oh, I've never seen that before in my life.
Do you fuck with this?
Oh yeah. Why not? I mean, I don't go to your job and question what you do when I pay you as a doctor. I just pay you the money and, you know. Yeah, but I mean, you just let the person you hire do whatever it is they're gonna do. Don't worry about it. If there's a problem in the end, worry about it. If there's not, fuck off.
Yeah, when I was getting my history fixed, they're like, how much information like do you want like going over it? And I'm like, just fucking replace them. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I don't need their life story. Just put them back. What? Okay, so we've gotten heavy cut down here. We've got heavy cut up here. Just so that I have an idea of what it is I'm going to be looking at, I'm going to add a little Perfected EXAC. So as you can see, the Super Duty side has a little boat on it. Heavy cut, a little bit less. So I'm going to spur this out. Not that it really needs it. It's not all gummed up, but I'm just going to loosen up the fibers. I'll come back with the Perfected EXAC. I'll be right back. Okay, Perfected EXAC. Shake it up a little bit. And no, I'm not going to do the white down here. That's good enough for this boat and this customer. I'm just going to try to clean up the red here. And if you're curious, which something tells me you might be, let's take a look at this. So perfected EXAC just kind of leaves a nice little finish on there. Not bad. This boat's going to take a while. A lot of little steps. Every time you do the red, you have to kind of feather in the white because the pad actually touches on there, so it departs a little bit. What I find is if I do the bottom white first and the top white first, the red has less of anything to grab onto. So that's probably what I'll do. I only did this little section because the camera was here and I wanted to give you guys a heads up as to what was going on. So yeah, I'll finish up the rest of this white going up through the rest of the boat. And then when I get done with that, I'll work on the top part. And I may come back here and show you this. May. Anyway, that's what I'm working on today. So if you have any questions, hit me up in the comment section. I try to answer everybody. Talk to you in a bit. Hatch is open, you know that something's about to get shined up. And if you recall, we were working on this ugly POS just moments ago as far as you're concerned. I actually went to bed and came back. Yeah. Now, yesterday I had a little bit of success with the bottom white and the red stripe. I don't think it's completely perfect just yet. I might want to use a foam pad on this. However, I've got this entire top part of the white to do and a very troublesome, inefficient area to work on before I get back here. The only good news is that the boat is white. And I take that back. That's not the only good news. There's some other good news. What? Okay, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that. We've introduced you to Hop Valley. I think we did Cryo Stash. So let's give you the other version. Or one of the other versions. This is Panda Stash, and it's got some stuff on the side written here. So I'll tell you what, I'll pour it out. We'll let some of that protein escape the beer. And I know, guys, that I don't pour a beer correctly. Doing it one-handed in a glass, you're just going to get some foam. And you're supposed to, actually, quite honestly, IPAs, I think, have 2/3 the volume of whatever the liquid is just carbon dioxide. So if you don't get that out and you just pound a bunch of these, you're gonna have some gastrointestinal issues. It's not gonna hurt you, but you know, nobody likes burping all night, having gas and feeling bloated. So I'm gonna get rid of some of this. I'll take a swig. I'll be right back. But you can see it's kind of pretty. I mean, it's got a nice color to it. A little bit hazy. They say Panda Stash Hazy IPA features Citra cryo hops. Now you remember the cryo hops are the ones that they freeze dry. And a hefty helping of grapefruit peel, which I'm not a fan of. I don't like when you add ingredients to a beer. In fact, I'm probably going to hate this ostensibly just because of that. Okay, let's try this. Well, it's not overly grapefruity. But now that I think about it, yeah, you're only supposed to use hops, water, barley, and maybe, well, that's hops, barley, maybe wheat, sometimes corn, but you don't get to add orange peel. So, hasta la vista, baby. Okay. Well, it's not bad, but I'm kind of a purist. I wouldn't go so far as to say a beer snob, but while we have another beer, and if you're wondering why I'm leaving my index finger out, nasty sliver in there yesterday. It's still in there underneath the nail. So trying to treat her gingerly. Okay. A little bit clearer. Now, Spot On is by Reuben. Reuben tends to take a rather professional approach to their beers. In other words, I don't think any of theirs are the best I've ever had. That being said, every time I have one, I'm like, well, that's really good. This one being called Spot On, let's see what to say. When a beer tastes its best, we like to say that it's spot on, striking just the right balance between malty character and hoppy complexity. Bullshit. Spot On IPA combines tropical notes of pineapple and sweet citrus with a clean, crisp finish. Well, we'll see about that. All right, here you go. Cheers, guys. So much foam. Oh. Well, that is interesting. I like that. This is something I'd like to drink with a burger, a steak, maybe a pork chop. By the way, there's a guy that I met that makes pork chops. Ugh. Him and his family are amazing, but his pork chops, heavenly. All right, you know what? Boat time. Okay, just so you don't think I'm a complete... good stuff. To my homies. All right, let's get back into the work, shall we? So I'm going to continue on working on the white part above the red. If I dip into the red at all, I'll clean it up with Perfected EXHC. Just to give you a heads up and a quick reminder, this is what we're starting with, folks. Slightly chalked out. Goodness. Ew, Gelcoat repair. All right, I'll get you set up and I'll get into this. All right, I'm going to do a test spot with, I'll start with heavy cut. Now, this is in a 3M marine compound and finishing material. Trust me, the bottle, trust me, it's heavy cut. It's not what it says. Again, I just had an empty bottle, so. Load up the pad a little bit. About that much. Make sure my buffer's set to the slow setting. I'm just going to spread this out. And once it's spread out, I'm going to hit my edges. Now I'm going to cross cut. And because it was so oxidized, I'm going to cross cut twice. Then I'm going to flatten out and worry about the middle area. with that, from my angle, I can see quite a bit of a reflection showing up. Maybe you can too, especially if I get you a little closer to the boat. You see that section kind of grew out. So let's take a look at that in the sunlight. It's gonna be difficult. Not bad. Hold on. There we go. Okay. And what I'm seeing is, I don't know if you can see the reflection of the fender. Down here you can see the reflection of the shadow. So I like it. I mean, it's not terrible and it's clean. I haven't wiped this off, but it looks pretty good. So I'll do another spot right next to it with Super Duty. So I stopped right here. And I'll do the next section to the right of that. Everything over there with Super Duty. So give me 1 second. All right, I've got my Super Duty on the pad. I'm just going to, I'll leave a little line, like maybe a 2-inch space between them, just so we know. Same thing. Spread this out. Okay, now once everything is covered, same thing. I'm going to start on my edges. Now a little cross cutting. And again, because she's so oxidized, I'm going to go ahead and do it in another direction as well. Then I'm going to flatten out. Getting a little hot, so I'm going to switch hands. now the fun part. The fun part is where you have to, as a detailer or a boat owner, you have to decide which one looks best. And quite honestly, they both look about equally as shiny and reflective. I know that one side has a lot more scratches than the other. And I think what I'm finally realizing is that while I like the heavy cut more so than I like the reflection of the Super Duty, I know this boat, I know Cobalt. This is hiding something from me. And while that doesn't display the best reflection and shine, I trust that it did everything that I needed it to do, which is grind the hell out of that white section so that if I came back over it with heavy cut, I'd be very, very happy. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit the whole boat with Super Duty and then hit the whole boat with heavy cut. And then we'll see how it goes. If I like that, then we'll just leave it at that. If I can leave a decent finish with heavy cut, we'll leave a decent finish with heavy cut. If I have to perfect it, then, you know, I'll perfect it. Anyway, I'm going to set you up about here. And from here, you can just watch. I'll put it in time lapse. And then when we get back to this little area over here, the Cobalt section, I'll focus back in, okay? So, see you in a bit. Okay, boat sluts, here you go. Just a little bit of what I've been working on. This was up front, if you noticed, back by this little vent here. From about the WN numbers forward, I used heavy cut. Mostly because this area wasn't as bad as the back. But the rest has been done. So this is just Super Duty back here, heavy cut up front. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to check the scratches in the sun. The sun's pretty high. I mean, if you can gauge by where the shadow is. So getting good light is going to be tricky, but let's see if I can show you. I don't know if I can. Oh, there you go. There's a little bit of it. I think I can clean that up with Perfect It. And if I can, then I don't have to use heavy cut. So I'm going to do a little section with Perfect It, probably back here where I started off earlier. And if it works out that Perfect It is the answer, well, guess what? Perfect It is the answer. So 1 second here. Now remember, we're working basically to the right of the Cobalt. I'm not going to get too into that just yet. That's a more involved process. It'll probably come after lunch. Anyway, while I'm down here, I'm going to be getting into the red stripe, where while I was working with heavy cut and Super Duty, I got a little bit down here, so I'll touch that with the Perfect It, and we'll go from there. Perfect It. Okay. A little bit directly on the pad. Let's see what's up. cross cuts. Now the middles. You may have picked out this guy's caulking came out. I don't know if you can see it. He's got a pretty big gap right in front of it, about 1 inch. So my buffer wheel caught the edge. Now, the appropriate thing to do is pull this way, throw that away, and then nobody knows. It's not really the official correct way to do it, but it's how I do it, because I'm not here to fix everything on a guy's boat. But as a detailer, I do get dinged for stuff like that all the time. People are like, oh, you broke my boat. And did I, or did time? Anyway, so I touched this a little bit. I'm going to just clean this up. I've already waxed the red, but it's never going to hurt it to have a little bit more compound or a little bit more wax. Now the thing that I wanted to do is check to see what the reflection looked like. So, oh, hello. That'll do. Okay, I'll try to get you to see it, but chances are you won't be able to. Up, 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 up. Okay, there you go. Moving back and forth. So not bad. I think that the solution to this one is going to be perfected all the way around from that point on. So that's exactly what I'll do. Okay. But you don't need to watch that in normal speed. You can watch that in time lapse. We got, you can see the bottle of Perfected down there in the reflection. It's pretty nice and clean. I don't know what all you're gonna see looking down the hull of this boat, but I'm just about to get interested enough to do this back section here. I really don't want to do it, but Cobalt's gonna make me, so I guess I have to kick you up a little bit, somewhere in there. I've contacted the customer to find out if he's going to let me yank his Cobalt. It would be nice for me to have just a nice smooth surface and not have to deal with an area that I can't make great. Plus, because his gold paint has faded, this is going to make a huge black mess when I get in there with compound. Not that I can't do it. You guys have seen me do it years ago. But I'm hoping that I don't have to. So I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to go ahead and wax like from here forward. I mean, the whole hull's done on this side except for this little section here. When I get clarity from the owner, I'll know what I'm doing on that back end. And to be fair, I called him yesterday, but he hasn't called back. So if I don't hear back from him, I might leave this for tomorrow and just focus on other stuff. I mean, obviously there's plenty more of this boat left to do, so I can take a moment and just have this section sit here and primarily just, you know, above the red, just all this nastiness here. If he lets me yank the emblems, it'll look a lot cleaner and nicer. I can always put a decal on there afterwards. If he doesn't want the emblems back on, that's just awesome. This boat will look so good. Anyway, that's where I'm at, so I'm going to wax this. I might film it, but I'll put it in hyperlapse or time lapse so that you guys don't have to watch the entire thing, all right? Cool. Well, there you have it. Oh, shiny, clean, easy to keep clean. All right, well, that's all for today, folks. At least that's all for right now. How's that? Mistaken. I didn't actually think that you'd be able to see too much of a difference on a white hull, but if I can position you right here, maybe you can at least see the difference from one side of the hull to the other. It's not super dramatic, but, you know, good enough for the girls I date. Plus, it's just a fun shot. Look at that. Wow, 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 wow. Yeah, I'm bored. Sorry. Need a distraction. I think I'm gonna go get something to drink. See you in a sec. And I'm pretty sure you can see my spur in the reflection. It's a nice clean reflection. Not bad.